What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. This is TW Motorsports, and today we are working on the flip Yukon. That's right, I'm not going to be modding this or doing any lowering or anything like that. I actually didn't even need this thing, but like I said, it was up the road from us. We drive our golf cart up and down the road. It's been sitting under a tree for probably about 2 years, and so I just randomly stopped and asked if they wanted to sell it. This went over the course of a couple days. They said they were thinking about selling it. They'd get back to me on price. The next day I go over, they told me $1,000, and I ended up buying it for $800. Now, it is not in great shape, and I know a couple of you guys, when I first talked about it, reached out and asked how much I wanted for it. To be honest with you guys, my goal here is to clear $2,000 of profit. So I paid $800 for it. I would like to get $2,800. That is the goal, so to make $2 grand. But before we do that, there's some stuff that I want to address. So I told you guys, or maybe you didn't watch that video, this thing is making a little bit of noise. And so I'll talk to you about what that is. It's actually, there's a piece of metal, I'll show you under the gas tank here, that runs along the side of the gas tank that actually protects the gas tank from heat. And you can see that it's, you can see it hanging down there. It's that flat piece of metal. Well, they ran over something and bent that metal, so the drive shaft is hitting that when you are driving it. So that's why you hear the noise when you're driving, but yet not when it's started. So obviously you're going to fix that. That's going to be really easy. I'm literally just going to bend that back, and I probably won't even show you guys that, but not a big issue whatsoever. But this thing is just, you know, you can see the rust in the rockers. It's pretty common on these, especially when they're not taken care of. But I don't really have a ton of plans as far as doing a bunch. I'm going to bend that back. I'm going to clean the outside really well, and as you can see, there's some panel gap issues. It's been bumped into before. It's got dings and dents on it, but it runs really well. 269,000 miles. It is four-wheel drive. The four-wheel drive does work. I did check that. And I'll probably do an oil change because it's been sitting for so long. But other than that, just a good cleanup is, and a lot of you guys had asked me, like, what do you think you'll do? Or you wanted me to show you kind of what I would do if I were flipping a car. And I haven't done that in a long time, to be quite honest with you. Most of the stuff I go a little crazy on. But the interior, as you can see, is really, really gross. And I've got a trash bag in here. I think that's going to be my first step. I'm going to clean all this junk off, like around the, well, this phone holder I don't need, and the air freshener, just junk that's laying around in the car that I don't need. And then I'll probably give it a good vacuum. So this is what it looks like right now, and it is disgusting. This is busted. I actually have another one of these that my dad gave me, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I really didn't need it, but he didn't need it either, so he gave it to me. I might put that in. I don't know how aggressive I'm going to get cleaning. I could go really crazy, but honestly, guys, I don't have the time, and I don't think it's going to make a big difference. That needs to be greased. You can see I'm missing, the actual switches are in here, but for some reason the housing's missing, so I don't know what's going on with that. They may be down on the door, I'm not sure, but those are pretty easy. I've got a neighbor here that actually has one of these, and I can just go give him some money and take those. So I think other than a vacuum, like I said, I don't think I'm going to get my carpet shampooer out. I just don't think it's worth it. Now, this thing is kind of different in the fact that it has the barn doors in the back, which is kind of odd for these, but you can see how gross this thing is. It's absolutely disgusting, and yeah, I'm not going to be spending a ton of time cleaning. I probably will just hit the outside, vacuum it out, air up the tires, and like I said, do an oil change, fix that little piece that's rubbing on the bottom. But let's get started. I'm going to, well, I think I'm going to start by taking all that junk out of the inside first, and then maybe we'll hose it down, maybe clean up the wheels a little bit. So as you can see now, I have all the big junk out of it, and we are going to go ahead and start vacuuming. So I'm going to set you guys up on a tripod. This is going to be pretty rough. Probably take me a couple times going around it. Oh man, more stuff. Okay, so there's some Remington's shells. All right, I didn't even check there, but I'm going to set you guys up on a tripod, and then we'll get vacuuming. So it's actually another day on this thing, and so today we're gonna try a couple things. First of all, I robbed the radio out of the parts truck because this just looks terrible, and I don't even think it works, to be honest with you. So we're gonna rip this radio out, and then I'm probably gonna go over the interior, just wiping it down a little bit, just the hard surfaces probably. Like I said, I'm not gonna get my shampooer out here, nothing crazy, just gonna try to dress it up a little bit, and then we'll probably move to the outside. But first, let's get this radio out of the way. I might even tackle that piece of clear Plex that goes over the gauges. I'm not really sure, but let's get this out of the way first. So I'm gonna need, actually, I think I can just set the brake here, if the brake even works. We'll put it down in first. Let's see if we can yank this thing off of here. I don't know if it'll clear the radio. It's definitely been off before, that's for sure. And yeah, kind of as I thought, the radio is just not even setting in there. Well, the good news is they left the original plug. You don't even know how awesome that is. Well, I say, we're gonna have to test it. So I'm gonna we'll unplug this radio. I can't do that with one hand. Let's shut this thing off. We'll unplug this radio and we'll test it and see. Okay, so we got lucky. I did put it in and no issues whatsoever. It actually works. Now, while this is missing some knobs and in the greatest shape, it looks way better than the other one. So what I think we will do is I'm gonna see, I don't know, I feel like that's glued on. It is glued on. So that may be more than I want to mess with, to be real honest with you. So I may just leave that and give the new owner the chance to replace that if they want to. So at this point, I'm just going to grab some cleaning solution and we're going to try to wipe this thing down. It's probably going to eat up a majority of my rags if I had to guess, just because of how nasty it is. But I think we can make it look a lot cleaner. So all I'm going to be using here is, I started with a bunch of dirty towels, to be honest with you guys, because there's no sense in getting crazy. We're not going to get it that clean. But I do want to wipe the hard surfaces off, and I'm just using some big purple power is all it is. And it's pretty aggressive, honestly. I've got it watered down quite a bit because, like, on these GM dashes, you will straight strip the color off of them if you don't watch what you're doing. So I figured I'd clean this off a little bit before I put that panel back on. And like I said, nothing fancy. I'll probably time lapse a majority of this because it's just going to be a simple wipe down, and then we'll come back and vacuum one more time, clean the windows maybe, because this stuff will make the windows all gross. Anyway, I do have, so gross. I could never drive a car like this. This gross. Just couldn't do it. There's some tape holding the steering wheel together here. Just the plastic. I'm assuming that this has been off before a couple times. Let's go ahead and put that panel back on. So I got a majority of the hard surfaces wiped down, and guys, this thing is just wrecked. It makes me crazy because I'm one of those guys that goes all out, and so for me to not go all out, take these panels off, take the seats out, go over the carpet, it makes me a little bit crazy, but we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it for now. I am gonna go over the windows. I probably won't show you guys that. You can see how nasty the windows are. They all do go up and down. So the next thing I'm gonna do, and sorry, it's really windy today, we're gonna change out the battery because it's kind of sluggish. I actually have the used one out of the parts truck back there, so I'm going to grab it out of here, and then we're going to try to vacuum some of this junk out from under the hood to make it look at least a little nicer, and then I'll probably change the oil. I'm not real sure yet, but then we can maybe tackle the outside as far as getting it a little cleaned up. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I had it running while I was vacuuming that off, and I noticed that when it got warm, we got a little bit of a tick. Now it's really windy out today, and hopefully you guys can hear it, but let me start it back up and see if it's still going. And I'm sure you guys can hear that. Which, so it could be good or bad. I actually think it's just a sticky lifter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little sea foam in the oil before I change it. So I'm gonna go grab some of that, put in the oil, maybe about 4 or 5 ounces of it, just depending on how much oil's in it. You generally wanna put an ounce for each quart of fluid that's in it. So I'm gonna go grab some of that, pour in there, and we're gonna have to drive it around a little bit, try to clean it out. You know, it has been setting for a while. I think probably just an oil change might quiet it up, because the chances are the oil's probably gross, but we're gonna try that anyway. So I had to run to the store and get some sea foam, but what we're going to do is we're gonna pour maybe 1/3 of this bottle in here. And then I think, I won't show you guys this probably because there's no way for me to take it, but I'm going to attempt to take it to the car wash and blow out the door jambs. So what I don't use here, I'm going to pour in the tank. So we'll pour the rest of this in the gas tank. But the door jambs are so nasty that I'm going to take it to the car wash. I'm going to wash some of the mud and crap off of it too. But you guys seen the door jambs, how gross they are. I'm going to try to blow those out with a power washer. I'm actually watering on the other side over there. Otherwise I would just do it here, but maybe take it and just blow some of the big stuff off of it. And to be honest with you guys, with the engine noise and random stuff not working and how dirty it is, you know, I originally said that $2 grand was the goal here, but man, it's going to be a stretch to get a $2 grand profit out of this. I'm thinking more like 1,500 to 1,000 at this point. Just because of all the things that I've seen as I've went along. Now I may be wrong. I'm going to list it for a $2,000 profit, but if I don't get a lot of interest or somebody comes out and balks over something, then I may just have to go with whatever I get. So anyway, when we get back, we may hit the wheels, and I'm going to hand wash the outside, of course, but hopefully I can make it into town and not break down. So back from the car wash, and it cleaned up okay, honestly. I got a lot of the mildew from sitting under the tree. There was a ton of it like stuck in the cracks and crevices. I like to blow them off with power washer before I hand wash them, just get some of the big stuff out of the way. So at this point, I think we're going to, I don't know if I want to work on the wheels or not. The wheels are pretty gross, and I'm going to, but I just don't know if I want to do it right now. The other thing is, on the way to the car wash, I was afraid this old thing would lay down on me or something, because I feel like the transmission seems like, I don't know if it's because it hadn't been used in a while. I'm pretty sure that it is, but it seems like it's kind of draggy when you first start it. but it seems to be doing fine. It shifted fine on the way there. It's just when you initially start it, and like I said, it could just be because it's been setting for so long, it needs to be driven. But the noise, the engine noise went away on the way into town. So that's good, guys. Like I said, I'm pretty sure a lot of times dirt and debris gets stuck in a lifter, and that's what the noise generally is. But I think once we flush that oil out of there, we will be fine going forward. But it did go away, so I'm still going to change the oil. I would like to put some miles on it though. But what I'm going to do at this point, I think, is we're going to set up, I'll set you guys up on a tripod, and I'm going to hand wash this thing. So we're going to start here on the wheels, and I'm using some just Eagle 1 junk. I had this laying around from old car. This stuff, I don't ever let my wheels get crazy enough where you have to use this, but instead of using a brush by hand, I'm going to use it on my drill. We're going to clean up these wheels real quick, and then we will move on to the outside. Man, it's windy today. But next, now that we got the wheels done, I'm using some pH balanced, it's actually pH neutral, wash from Chemical Guys. Now normally, guys, I would just use junk soap on something like this, and I would also do a 2-bucket method, but because this thing's all scratched up and it doesn't matter, I'm just going to be using 1 bucket, a microfiber cloth. We'll fill this up and get going. So at this point, guys, we got the outside all cleaned up, and I'm gonna be real honest with you. It's a terrible time. For one, this is not normally how I wash a car. Normally I use a 3-bucket method, and one being a wash bucket, one a clean water rinse bucket, and a third one separate for the wheels. But on this turd, it wasn't worth it. And so anyway, it's going bad because, as you can probably hear, the wind's rushing against the mic. So it's windy. I'm in the sun. I actually live where there's well water, so there's a ton of times it'll spot if you don't get it dry soon enough. And if you noticed in the video when I was washing it, I tried to dry off the windows as soon as I could, and I was able to get them dry before it spotted, but the rest of it was already dry. So it's just a testament to how terrible shape the paint is actually in. And could I spend time to, I'm gonna get a little closer to the car here. Could I spend the time to put a buffer on this thing and clean up the paint? Yes, I probably could, but it's not worth it because there's a scratch, dent, or rust on one of each panels. So it's just not worth, in my opinion, the return on investment I would get by doing that. So same thing kind of goes with the interior. You know, I could drag out my shampooer or extractor. I could drag out my steamer, and I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think I'm going to make any more money if I did that, and because the seats are all ripped and there's just odds and ends, pieces broken. So I really think we're going to be finished at this point, to be quite honest with you, because there's just no more that I want to do, or I think that's worth it. So You know, I originally said I wanted to make $2,000 on this thing. I think it's going to be more like $1,000 to $1,500 if I'm lucky. And I know I'm not hurt here, but it's just I think we're just going to give it up at this point. I'm still going to change the oil. I'm not going to show you guys that. I want to drive it like another 100 miles. I've already put probably 50 miles on it, and the noise actually did go away, and it runs and drives fine. It's just everything else needs replaced or fixed or altered, so just not worth my time to do it. So let me know if you guys want to know. I can do an update video down the road. What I'm going to do is I'm going to list it for sale, and I can do an update video and let you guys know kind of how it went as far as like what I made on this thing, or maybe another video down the road of me actually doing a proper detail on a vehicle. It's just like I said, I wanted to get it cleaned off and the interior stuff wiped down. That's all I had planned on this anyway. I wasn't going to go through and do a mad detail. I just don't think it's worth it. So if you guys did like this video, or if you want to see more, hit the comments down below and let me know. Also, if you did like it, smash that thumbs up button. It really helps my channel out. And while you're down there doing all that, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button followed by the bell icon. That notifies you every time we drop a new video. And stay tuned to see if we buy another flip project, maybe in a better shape, or if we work on something else next.